Let's start with some headlines from across the state. There are a few different things going on. Not all of them good. Let's talk a little bit about some injuries that have come down, some pretty significant ones that have reportedly come down for the Texas Longhorns. They had a scrimmage of some kind. I want to say, it's practice, scrimmage, whatever it was. They were playing football this weekend. And this weekend did not go great for Texas on the injury front, as apparently there are multiple reports saying that junior wide receiver Isaiah Nair and senior offensive lineman Junior Angelau, so it's a senior whose name is Junior, but Junior Angelau, have both suffered season-ending knee injuries over the weekend. Nair was supposed to be basically the number 2 receiver for Texas.
Yep.
Xavier Worthy is going to be the 1, and then he was going to kind of be opposite him. So now Jordan Whittington probably going to have to step up even further. Guys like Savion Red and Brennan Thompson, Troy Omieri. There was also there was the kid from Angier, I forget his name, the transfer from Alabama. But he's been suspended right now. He was Texas wide receiver suspended.
They've got 2 Alabama guys?
It was, I'm sorry, AGA Hall was suspended. We don't really know what's going on there. Oh, it says he did $600 in damage to a vehicle boot and was arrested by an officer. So he was charged with
booted.
His car got booted, and he tried to rip it off the car, and he got charged with criminal mischief. So he has been.
That's a heck of a charge,
suspended.
man.
It's a very Austin thing to do.
Yeah.
Very Austin thing to happen.
I was gonna say that's just a college thing anywhere.
So he's been suspended indefinitely. I would imagine he's not going to be out all that long for something like that, but you never know. So the receiver position takes a big blow. The other tough part is the injury to Junior Angelau. This is a guy who was a 5th-year starter, 34 starts to his name. He was supposed to start there at left guard, essentially. It looks like it'll probably be freshman Devin Campbell or Cole Hudson to take over there at guard. This is obviously pretty tough news there for Texas. They did not have a great weekend there. Staying in the college football ranks, there were a couple of we've got some rankings out. We're going to start with the one that came out last week, which is the coaches poll, the USA Today coaches poll, and 4 in-state teams were ranked in the coaches poll to start the year. Texas A&M came in at 7, Baylor came in at 10, Texas came in at 18, and Houston came in at 25. That's the coaches poll. In fact, Texas did get a first-place vote, believe it or not.
Yeah, something. Okay, was that a misfire or was someone trolling?
I don't know. If you think they're the best team in the country, then you rank them number 1. If you're a coach. But remember, that's the coaches poll. It's the coaches poll. It's all 130 FBS teams that submit their coaches.
Was it Sark?
I don't know. That is private from what I understand. You can't necessarily tell, but yes, they did. Anyway, that's the coaches poll. The AP poll just came out moments ago, and the AP poll is a little bit different, just a little bit different. Texas A&M was 7 in the coaches poll. They're 6 in the AP poll.
Okay, 1 spot.
Baylor was 10 in the coaches poll. 10 in the in
spot
there,
on.
So spot on. Houston was 25 in the coaches poll, 24 in the AP poll.
Okay.
Texas, 18th in the coaches poll, unranked in the AP poll. Unranked. They are de facto 27. If you go to the also receiving votes and you count, they are de facto 27.
Oof.
But yeah, they are behind BYU grabs 25th spot, Tennessee at 26, and then Texas at 27.
So apparently that first place ranking in the coaches poll pulled some weight there.
I was going to say
bumped up their numbers.
Very interesting. So some significant movement there in the rankings there. So that's the latest rankings. Let's talk a little bit. There have been some other, news and notes. We talked a little bit about, or if you listen to Republic of Football, they talk a little bit about SMU with their the Boulevard Collective that's going to give all their players $32,000. That's kind of in respect. After Texas Tech said they were going to give all their players $25,000. That's going on. Of course, listen to Republic of Football for more on that. I do want to get into this because we haven't actually.
Also, Tanner Mordecai was named the starting quarterback, by the way, at SMU. If you're interested in that.
That's not
not super surprising, but there was a actual race to get there.
Sure, absolutely. And so then let's get to this. And this was a story that came out a couple weeks ago, but we haven't been able to tackle it. We haven't had an opportunity, and it concerns the Alto Yellow Jackets. So Alto, here's the full story, as I understand it, because part of it has certainly played out in public. Alto is a team that when realignment came out in February, they were slotted into District 11 2A Division 2.
Yep.
District 11 2A Division 2, an enrollment of 163 teams there with the Tenahas, the Price Carlisles, the Cushings of the world.
163 students.
163 students, I should say.
I was like, 163 team district. That's news to me.
163 students in Alto High School. They're placed in 11 2A Division 2. And we have them finishing third. We have them ranked third in that district. A playoff team are the Yellow Jackets. The Yellow Jackets, and by the way, they have their third coach in 3 seasons, Brock Grigsby, who is most recently the offensive coordinator at center. Okay,
cool.
Call him a sleeper, maybe in Region 3.
Sounds good.
So there was big news a couple weeks ago when Alto was ruled by the state UIL state executive committee that they would be ineligible for any district-wide awards, I think is the way they phrase it, for the 2022 season. That functionally what that really means is that they are going to be ineligible to make the playoffs.
Yes.
In 2022. And the reason is that they ruled that the school turned in an incorrect enrollment number.
By, I believe, 3 kids?
So here's what I understand happened, and this is on the record in a public meeting. You can go watch it on the UIL website if you want. From what I understand, they had 3 students that enrolled prior to Snapshot Day, and somebody at Alto goosed the numbers and said, you know what if we backdate their enrollment to November 2nd after Snapshot Day. So basically, they won't count in our snapshot. These 3 students were apparently on campus taking classes before Snapshot Day, but they fudged the paperwork and said, oh, no, they enrolled on November 2nd. So they wouldn't do it. And perhaps you're thinking, why does that matter? Who cares about 3 kids? The reason is, with an enrollment of 163, they're a 2A Division 2 team. The cutoff is 164.5.
Which means that the 3 kids would push them over that. And
it would have pushed
2A
them
Division
2A Division 1. And so the word is, so basically the UIL looked at that and said, all right, the punishment for that is that you are ineligible for the playoffs.
And I believe it's for the next 2 years, correct?
So we'll get into that.
Okay.
I do want to address that because that is going around.
I think it's for this realignment period.
It could be.
Okay.
I'll explain. I want to start with this: that there's been people who have said, "Well, that's super harsh punishment. You're punishing the kids for the mistakes of the adults," which is 100% true.
Yeah,
that's 100% true. That is happening. The players are being punished for something that the adults did,
which stinks, especially for the juniors and seniors.
From the UIL perspective, you have to think of it in the sense of this is as close to a cardinal sin as you can do, simply because the realignment process works on the system of trust. That everyone has to turn in their numbers accurately because it's all an interlocking thing. Because the teams that are getting screwed here are the teams that otherwise there would have been 1 or 2 teams that would have been 2A Division 2 if Alto had turned in a number. It's not just about Alto, it's how they fit into the entire realignment ecosystem. Okay? And so to your point about is it for the next 2 years? They are ineligible undoubtedly ineligible for 2022. In 2023, they would be eligible for the 2A Division I playoffs if they were to compete in 2A Division I. But there's only one path for that to happen, and that is everyone in their current district must agree to release them from the district, and everyone in the district they want to join has to agree to take them on. It has to be unanimous on both sides. That if they want to go from, I'm not looking at it right now, let's say they want to go from District 11 2A Division 2 to District 11 2A Division 1, every school in both those districts would have to say, yes, we're good with that.
And
at which point then they could compete.
Highly unlikely to me.
It seems like there could be some flies in the ointment. And only one team has to say, I don't want to travel that far. No, I don't want to add these teams. No, this team, no, I don't want to do that.
Well, and the other thing is people are going, oh, well, when you say that it takes away from the kids, like we said, that's 100% right. But you also have to think of it in the aspect of if they were to just turn a blind eye to this and say, oh, well, Alto's third in their district, it really won't have that much of an effect, then what's stopping perennial powerhouse programs from doing that? So it's kind of like if you don't get them in trouble right now, then you've lost all. It's like when a ref loses control of a game almost.
In many respects, like, this is more or less just laid out in the UIL Constitution. Like, this is the penalty for doing that.
Yep.
And
it's like your one job throughout the year to not mess this up.
And it exists. I think, in my opinion, this is now me editorializing. I agree it is harsh. I think that it is intentionally so to be a deterrent
from doing this.
For schools doing it.
Because if you don't punish the people that are doing it right now, then it's going to turn into a madhouse of people doing this and saying, well, they didn't get in trouble for doing it, so why do we get in trouble for doing it?
And so it was a whole thing. They had the superintendent and I want to say the superintendent. They copped to it and they said, yes, that's exactly what happened. Apparently there was some sort of the person who had done it has been fired and things like that, and they more or less threw themselves at the mercy of the UIL, and the UIL said, we basically don't have a choice. Like, you've done this. You've essentially sullied the entire realignment process, and so as a result, this is the only punishment we can take. So Alto will miss the playoffs for just the second time since 2003 and just the third time since 1991 as a result of this. It's an unfortunate situation. I think everybody agrees.
Especially for the kids.
I think everybody agrees it's an unfortunate situation. It is sadly just the way that things are and the way that things have to be.
There's some rules that you can't break.
That is right. It's as close to a cardinal sin as you can get. And so as a result, Alto found out the hard way. Alto will not be in the playoffs for 2022. 2023 remains to be seen. Anyway, there are some headlines from across the state of Texas.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you would like more and to be notified when they come out, go ahead and click that subscribe button right down there. You can also watch Texas Football Today every day live at noon on TexasFootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, and right here on YouTube. For more of the best coverage of Texas football in the Lone Star State, go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe.